Oh, hello. I didn't see you come in. You've caught me drinking some nice warm water. It should be tea, but it's water. And eating a nice peanut butter sandwich. Wow. Oh, hello. I didn't see you come in. You caught me thinking about my gender. Oh, hello. I didn't see you come in. You caught me thinking about your gender. Never should have come here. Oh, hello. I didn't see you come in. You caught me thinking about the Feast of the Annunciation, which took place on March 25th. And I am recording this video on March 28th. You know, having me eat as sort of the backdrop of this video is a bad idea because I can't talk while eating. Oh, hello. I didn't see you come in. You caught me thinking about... Now, Radix, why are you thinking about the Feast of the Annunciation on March 28th? The feast is already over, isn't it? Is it, though? Okay. So, as some of you might have noticed, might have realized, one of my, maybe you can call it a New Year's resolution. Remember those New Year's resolutions, the thing you said you were going to do 3 months ago? Are you doing it? Are you doing the thing you said you were going to do 3 months ago? One of the things I wanted to do on this channel is I wanted to sort of integrate my creative process into the liturgical calendar. Sort of take my creative spirit and unite it with the setting of the seasons, as it were, of the church. And how I was going to do that was by making videos that commemorates each of the major feasts. Now, they don't have to be big videos. They could be something as a little reflection. It could be a reading of a homily related to that feast. There's a number of things I could do. It really isn't that fancy, and that was my plans. But today, several days after the Feast of the Annunciation, in which there was no video, I am reminded how much of a difficulty I have had basically my entire adult life dealing with things like planning and spontaneity. That's something I've always had a big problem with. Because if I find myself not planning anything out, then I find myself just doing whatever, and then I usually just end up getting addicted to like Twitter or whatever. Versus when I plan everything out, and I have every single moment of my day planned out, and then I feel terrible because I feel no sense of freedom. I feel chained to whatever it is I'm doing. The days start to feel like they're repeating over and over and over, and life has no meaning. So both of these things probably are problematic in their extremes. There must be some sort of medium that I need to find that I just haven't found yet. I'm also reminded that, you know, making plans can be a tricky thing. Plans in and of themselves, while plans have an ultimate goal, they have an ultimate telos, right? They have an ultimate end point. There's a reason you're doing these plans. It is very easy for plans to themselves become the ends and not a means. You know what I mean? They can become idols in and of themselves. Why do I want to make a video for each of the major feast days? Well, it's because I want to integrate my creative spirit with the liturgical calendar, because at the end of the day, I want to unite my soul with God. So a very, very high goal there at the end of the day. The Bible tells us that he who, I'm not going to be able to quote it exactly, but something along the lines of, if God does not build the house, the person who plans on building the house labors in vain. That all our plans really hinge on God's grace. And our plans do not depend on our will alone. You know, this is when we start to get into Nietzschean will to power type stuff. So the question then becomes, well, how do I organize my life? And there was the psychologist Adler, I forget his first name, Mortimer, as something. I forget, I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me, but Adler, where he saw the dilemma between living your life as a straight line, right, which is to say, always following a plan, always seeking to achieve a goal. And Adler says that the problem with this way of living is that your life is perpetually becoming, let's say, to use philosophical terms. Your life is always in the process of becoming. There's never really a point in that trajectory, in that straight arrow, where you can say that you live. You are in the process of beginning to live if you are perpetually following that arrow. But if you never know when you're going to die, right? Sorry to remind you guys this on a YouTube video that starts off with me eating a peanut butter sandwich. But you never know when you're going to die. And if you die at some point along that arrow, you never reach that end point. Adler sees that as a type of life that's sort of wasted in a way. On the other hand, if you don't have goals, if you don't have plans, if you just live either based on spontaneity, based on whatever you feel like doing, or you go a super Buddhist mindfulness route where you want to be one with the universe, dude. I hit my peanut butter sandwich. I want to be one with the universe. I'm going to go sit in a waterfall and just feel the vibes, man. Entering a pure state of being, being, not becoming, being. You're just being. You be. It be like that. It do be like that. Then that also isn't exactly a life. That also isn't exactly living. We were made to grow. We were made to change. Okay? So what does Adler propose? Adler proposes thinking about life as a dance. As a dance. That means there is this constant moving, but in a dance you also generally stay in the same place. What he says is you should be dancing along that sort of trajectory, right? There's a dance to this trajectory, which means there is a sort of end goal, a plan, but you're not letting that dictate your entire life. You're dancing through it. And it's a very interesting metaphor. I don't know exactly how to apply it. I think figuring out how to apply that is sort of the challenge of where I am in my life right now. But between me making the decision to make a video on every video, or make a video related to all the feast days, I got COVID in February, then I got another sickness in March, and I'm still sneezing all over the place. So things have not been well in the cmdrradix, in the rad fort, as it were. Now this is a video sort of tied, very, very tangentially tied to the Annunciation. But I want to point out the sort of mercy God gives us in the liturgical calendar, because this video is still happening in the octave of the Annunciation, okay? There is a time period after each feast where the feast is still technically in effect. I'm not a liturgics guy. I don't know the details about octaves, but I know we haven't had the leave-taking of the Annunciation yet. We are still in the Annunciation to some extent. And even though I missed the actual feast day, what I can do is the second best thing, which is upload a video thinking about the Annunciation during the octave of the Annunciation. There's a bit of mercy in the liturgical calendar in that sense, which is really cool to think about. To put this into more explicitly Annunciation terms, I think about the Blessed Virgin Mary when all of a sudden this angel pops up and says, yo, I should probably use more reverent language. But the angel, Saint Gabriel, shows up and declares unto Mary that God has a plan for her to be the mother of the incarnate Logos, right? And there's a lot that could be said about that. But thinking it through, Mary, who I'm sure had, to some extent, plans, to some extent did not see her life going in this direction, proceeded to say yes. And in her yes, she entered a cosmic dance of salvation that changed the world forever. And when I think today within the octave of the Annunciation, when I think about, all my plans that I've laid out, and how at the same time that's not the best idea. Life needs to be to some extent a sort of dance. Today I'm thinking about that cosmic dance Mary had with the Lord, with the Holy Spirit, right? To enter her life into this dance, not really knowing where it was going, having an idea, knowing that her heart would be pierced, and that's not a good prophecy to hear. I'm not sure what that means, but that can be good, right? But putting her faith in God, trusting in God, and entering into that dance, the dance that Adler, a secular psychologist, talks about is inherently, to the Christian life, a dance in faith. That faith itself is a type of dance. Christian, I think Anglican, commentator Spencer Clavin, the son of Andrew Clavin of the Daily Wire, says in one of his articles about real dance is never finished, real dance goes on forever. He talks about, to some extent, life or work or your relationship with God as a type of dance. And that was an interesting synchronicity, as it were, an interesting parallel of faith, life as a dance. We can't live our lives completely in our planned will to power realm. We can't live our lives completely in a Buddhistic sense, in a becoming one, very passive with the universe. It's a dance, and that's incredible. And it's going to take its twist. It's good. Peanut butter sandwich was not the best choice for a video where I speak a lot. But a dance has all its twists and turns. It's organized in a way, but it's also wild in its own way, right? It's like that moment in the liturgy. The liturgy itself, of course, is very perfectly organized. But when you have the priest with the bells and the censers and the choir, and everything seems to be going on at once, there's a sort of order and chaos, not wiping each other out, but existing in a good equilibrium with the telos of what is the ultimate goal of, what is one of the goals of the divine liturgy. It's the ministering of the Eucharist, right? It's salvation. It's the body and blood of Christ. Anyway, these are some thoughts I have while eating a peanut butter sandwich in the afternoon. This is really a weird time to eat this. It's like 3 p.m. What do you eat at 3? What happens when you're hungry at 3 p.m.? What is this? Is this lunch? Is this supper? Is this lupper? Oh, hey, I didn't see you come in. Oh, hey, I didn't see you come in. Welcome. Oh, hey, I saw you come in. I like this cup. I really like this cup, by the way. It's got a Mount Fuji. It's got a Japan flag. It's got a great wave. Very cool. Very nice. I got this at the Japanese equivalent of the Dollar General.